Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Erica, and in today's video, I'm going to be creating 3 looks with the BPerfect Stacey Marie Carnival Antidote palette. Now, I picked this palette up not very long ago off the Beauty Bay website, and I did really want this palette when it was first released, but I kind of felt like I didn't need to have the palette because I kind of felt like I had similar color stories in my collection already. But then I saw Ash, Makeup and Chaos, use this palette on their channel. They created a 2 or 3 looks video using this palette. And their looks absolutely blew my socks off. And then the palette went on sale on the Beauty Bay website. And because I'm a total cheapskate bargain hunter, I finally got it. And look at how amazing this palette is, the packaging. And then if you look at the color story, it's even more amazing. Beautiful, grungy, earthy, greens, reds, neutrals. I mean, everything you could want in a palette. I mean, there's no blues or purples, but for my tastes, this is everything I could want in a palette. So I thought what I would do is break this palette up into thirds. We have this third over here, this one in the middle, and then this one right here. And because I'm such a huge green eyeshadow lover, I have to start off with this third over here. I have been staring at this side of the palette ever since I picked it up, and I gotta get my brushes and my eyelids into those shadows. So without any further ado, let's get into look 1. So my brows are done, and this eyelid is primed in the P. Louise eyeshadow base in Room 01, of course. So let's get into this side of the palette, you guys. I have been wanting to try these shades since I first got this palette. So I think what I'll do is start off with this shade here called Buttercup and put that in my transition area. I just thought a yellow and green look would look really awesome. I hope anyway. And I was so impressed with Ash's looks with this palette that I thought, okay, I'm just gonna get it. You know, I do have other green palettes, and I do have other palettes that have, you know, reddish and orangish and brownish colors in them. Of course I do. But I just think this is such a cool combo, and it's really neat to have it all together, you know? And this is an awesome yellow matte. A lot of times yellow mattes look kind of weird on me, or the pigmentation is just kind of weird. I don't know. I feel like I've put some yellow mattes on my lids and it just didn't do anything to make me happy. And this one's making me happy. Okay, now that that's laid down, I do, of course, want to add some greens because, yes, I just have to. I think I'll go into this color right here. It's called Sable, and put that like in my crease, like maybe up into my transition area a little bit, but more so in my crease. And I thought about going like really dark and green grungy type look today, but that's usually what I would do. So I'm trying to do something maybe just a little different today. You know, yellows and greens. Just, I don't know. I might put a dark green shade on here too. I don't know yet, but I don't know. I just really like that yellow shade, and it worked really well. So that's awesome. And I like how these two are jiving together. That's awesome. Just want to kind of take that harsh edge off of that green shade if I can. Just kind of keep blending here and have those two match up or jive really well together. And when I do this kind of stuff, like if I really want to go into my crease, I like to use smaller brushes. You know, this is a fluffier brush, but kind of not super fluffy, just kind of, I don't know, condensed, but fluffy at the same time. I don't know. And that way I don't blow the green shade out too much. Like sometimes what'll happen if I use too big of a brush is that it'll completely swallow the transition shade. I don't really want it to do that. I do want that yellow shade to kind of peek out around that green shade. So that's why I picked this size of brush for this. So now I think I do want to deepen up that outer corner. I just don't know if I want to go this dark. That's pretty too, but that's a little, I don't know. I think what I'm going to do actually is just go into this shade here called Clover and put that in my outer V. And I would love to know if you guys have this palette and what you think of it. Are you guys huge fans of this palette? I'm a huge fan of this already. I've only used, now I'm going into my 3rd shade and I'm already like, yes, I love this palette. I was pretty sure that I would. I just love green eyeshadows. So any palette that has greens in it, I typically always want. But then I'm kind of weird about shadows. You guys know how weird I am. If I really like something, I'm like, well, I just won't use it because I want it to stay in my collection forever and ever. Ridiculous. I'm really going to try hard this year to work on that and not do that ridiculous crap because it's just so dumb. So dumb. I mean, you know, you get a palette you love and you let it sit on your shelf and get dusty because you don't want to use it, but you do want to use it. Like, what kind of logic is that? And this is working so well. Very pigmented, blending well, applying well. I mean, Yeah, I'm really, really digging this. And now for the shimmer shades. Should I do 2 shimmer shades or just 1? I think I will do 2 shimmer shades. And I think what I'll do is start off with this shade here called Venom and put that towards the latter half of the lid. Ooh, this is gorgeous. That thick, buttery consistency. I think I got a little too much on my brush here. I am going to spray this. Okay. And let's just go ahead and put this down right here. Oh, yeah. Yep. Beautiful. I knew it was going to be beautiful. And I like this tone of shimmer with the mattes that I've laid down so far. That's cool. I'm going to take this over the top of that clover shade, I think it was called, right? Just a little bit, and then I'll go back over and kind of smooth that edge off after I get done laying this down completely. So now what I'm going to do is clean that off a little bit, and then I think I'm just going to flip it over to this side. Yep. And I think what I'll do is go into this shade right here, and this is called Silvery. Silvery, is that right? It's not really silvery, but okay. Who am I to say what you should name a shade, right? I mean, I can barely describe color, so I wouldn't be naming any shades around here. And let's put this right here towards the front. And I had a little bit too much on the brush, but man, that just smushed down perfectly. Oh my God, that was amazing. I thought, oh gosh, I'm gonna have that all over my face. But no, it just calmed itself right down and smushed right into my eyelid. Woo! That is just beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love that. But I do, of course, want to take that little edge off of that shimmer. So I'm going to go back into the shade here called Clover and put that, just a little bit of this, just kind of over the edge of that shimmer there. Yeah, awesome. Okay, worked. Woo! All right, you guys know the drill. I'm going to go off camera, do my lower lash lines, my other eye, the rest of my face makeup, the finishing touches, and I'll be back. Ta-da! This is the finished look. I really do like how this look turned out. I really do. And I'm glad that I chose more vibrant green shadows out of the palette rather than going more grungy green, because that's usually what I would do. And I've done a lot of grungy green looks on my channel. So I do feel like I kind of switched it up maybe just a little bit today and using the more vibrant green shades. And I did use another shade out of the palette, a deeper green shade to line my lids, the upper and lower lash lines. But I'll show you that in just a second. Before I do that though, I did want to show you guys just a couple things I used for my finished look. On my lips, I did use the Handan liquid lipstick, and I'm not sure what the shade is. This is in 06, I believe. That's what it says on the bottom. I got this from Temu, and I used this for my makeup of 2022 in review video for the first time and really like it. It feels really nice on the lips, lasted all day, and I love the shade. And then for my mascara, I did use the ColourPop Act Natural mascara in black that Oakley sent to me for our makeup swap collab. This is one of my favorite mascaras I have in my collection. And then for my lower waterlines, I did use the NYX Professional Makeup Epic Wear Liner Stick in the shade All Time Olive. And I love this. I think it looks really nice with the eye look. So let me show you the palette again quickly before we get on to look number 2. I use this shade here called Sable on my lower lash line, and I also use this shade here called Antique. Is that right? Yeah, Antique on my lower lash line. I also line my upper lids with it too. Really happy, thrilled with the way the mattes performed and the shimmers. I just love this palette. I knew I was gonna love it. I mean, I haven't used all the other shadows yet, and I haven't created the other 2 looks yet, but I'm sure I'm gonna love those shadows too, and I'll love those looks as well, I hope. But yeah, really fun, really a cool palette, and I love the texture of the shimmers, or that thick, buttery, amazing shimmer texture. And this shade here, this one's called Silvery, I think, yeah. I put way too much on my brush, and when I put it on my lid, I thought, oh my God, this is gonna be all over my face, and it just smushed beautifully on my lid. And I love this yellow matte. Sometimes I don't always love yellow mattes that are in palettes, but that one's nice. Everything else I used was beautiful. So if you're ready, because I'm ready, let's go on to look number 2. So look number 2 is coming at you. And I'm going to be using the middle part of this palette, if I can get it open. There we go. These shades right here. And I really want to do just a simple look today. So I'm only going to be using 3 shadows out of this row, or these rows in the middle here. I'm going to be using this shade here called Bonbon, this one called Chestnut, and I'm going to put this shade here called Oyster as my shimmer shade. So I'm going to start off with Bonbon and put that in my transition area. And of course my brows are done and my eyelid is primed in the P. Louise eyeshadow base in Rumor 01. All right, let's tap this off. And I'm just going to start laying this down right here. It's a really pretty light pink matte. I love it. I'm really trying to use more pink shadows, you know? I am trying to conquer my weirdness with pinks. I really don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I really do want to try to get over that. Because I just think it's kind of dumb to let an eyeshadow color scare you or freak you out. I mean, there's a lot more things in the world that should be freaking me out more than pink eyeshadows, right? Okay, and actually I think I am going to use a fourth shadow because that looks funny right there. I don't like that. So I think I'm going to go to the shade here called Dove and just kind of, I don't know, buff the edge of that out a little bit. The pink shadow is kind of like, not clumping, but it just looks, I don't know, just looks a little funny right there. So I thought, well, I'll use this Dove shade and just kind of make that look a little softer. And yeah, that's doing a good job. Okay, I feel a lot happier now. I just was like, I don't know. Okay, that looks pretty good. I might have to mess with that a little bit more. But now let's go to the shade here called Chestnut. And I'm gonna put that in my outer V into my transition area just a little bit, or into my crease a little bit. And I am gonna be using my other Real Techniques brush. I have two. And I do have some Real Techniques face brushes somewhere around here. I don't know where they are. I have brushes kind of stored haphazardly in here. I have some on this little like shelf thing that's underneath my desk that I kind of forgot I even had down there. I was like, oh, geez, I have brushes down there too when I was organizing things with all those wonderful trays that Andy sent to me. I realized that I had a bunch of brushes down there and I was like, okay, we got to do something with those. So I still need to kind of go through those. I really want to go through my brush collection and just kind of get rid of some stuff because I just don't use a lot of my brushes. You know, I have like a core set that I use all the time. So there's really no reason for me to keep all these brushes, you know, because they're not getting any use. And yeah, this shade is blending out nicely and I think it looks really pretty nice brown shade. And I like the kind of like salmony pink along with the brown. That's nice. Okay, so now for the shimmer, let's go into this one right here called Oyster. I'm going to put that across the lid. I did spray this, so let's go ahead and put this on right here. Ooh, yes. Oh, wow. That is gorgeous. Beautiful light pink shimmer. It's really what I wanted today. It was just a nice, bright eye look, you know, with a little bit of depth, a little bit of pink. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of the shimmers that are in this palette. Incredible! And what I really like about big palettes like this is that you can do so many different things. You know, I think some people get almost kind of overwhelmed by larger palettes. I used to. When I first started into makeup, I was like, no, way too big. That's what she said. But the cool thing is that you can go over the top and use 43,000 different colors if you want, or you can go real simple and just use a few shades like I'm doing today. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with this look. That was pretty easy peasy. So of course I'm gonna go off camera, do my other eye, my lower lash lines, the rest of my face makeup, my hair. I'll be back. This is the finished look, and I really like how it turned out. And I just really wanted to do something simple today. I think sometimes with really large palettes, they almost can seem overwhelming because there's so many different options, but you can just grab 3 or 4 shades out of a palette and create a really pretty simple look. And of course, I'll talk to you about the shades again that I used in this look today, but I did want to go over a few things quickly that I used in my finished look today. For my mascara, I did use the Rimmel Scandalized Curve Alert Mascara. This is almost gone. Got this at the drugstore. It's very affordable and it works great. And then I lined my upper lids with the L'Oreal Infallible, the Super Slim Felt Tip Liner in brown. This works so well. I love it. And then for my lower waterlines, I did use the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in Good Reef. I went with pink. Normally I wouldn't go with pink, but I just thought it would look nice with the pink that's going on the lids. And then for my highlighter, I did use the Saint Luxe highlighter in Celestial. This came in an ice cream beauty box, and I just thought a pink highlighter would work well today. And I love this shade. It's a beautiful highlighter. And then for my lips, I did use the Queen Nubia Cosmetics liquid lipstick in the shade Erica. No, not named after me, but yes, I do like to pretend that it is. I just think this is a gorgeous shade. I love the formula. Now, initially, I'd only planned on using 3 shades today, these 3 right here. But I did put that Dove shade around the outer edge of the Bonbon shade just because, I don't know, it just looked kind of funny to me. This pink shade's not my favorite pink shade, but I don't know that there's a pink shade in any palette that's my favorite. But I really did like what this did, and I just love these shades. I really do, except for that one's not my favorite. But these 2 are great. This deepened up the outer V really nicely. I put this on my lower lash line as well. And this shimmer shade is absolutely gorgeous, and I did use that in my inner corners as well. All right, you guys, let's keep on trucking on to look number 3. All right, look number 3, here we go. I do have my brows done, and of course this eyelid is primed in the P. Louise eyeshadow base in Rumor 01, and I'm going to use the front part of the palette today. This section right here. This palette is really hard to hold up with one hand. So I think what I'll do is something kind of bright, but also kind of earthy at the same time. I think I'm going to use this shade here, this one right here, And then I think I might use that shade maybe. And then I really want to use this gold shade right here. And of course, I'll tell you what the shade names are as I apply them to my lids. So let's start off with this shade here. This is called Pretty Peachy, and put that towards the front part of my transition area. And I am really enjoying playing with this palette. This is really fun. I'm really having a blast. I wanted just to see what kind of fun things I could do with this palette, you know, do something, you know, with the greens, of course, because I love greens so much. And then, you know, I just kind of felt like doing something more simple with the middle section. And now I just want to do something, I don't know, kind of bright and vibrant, but also kind of earthy. Is that possible? Can you do bright and vibrant with earthy? We'll see. We'll see what I can do here. And because I do have kind of a golden undertone to my skin, sometimes brighter shades don't always look as bright and vibrant on my lids as they do in the pan. So we'll just kind of see how this whole thing shakes out. I feel like I'm having to layer a lot of this on though. And this might just be the brush's fault, you know what I mean? Like this might not be the right brush to be using for this type of placement. I don't know. But I don't know that this shade is as pigmented as some of the other shades I've used in this palette. So I do want to switch brushes because that one's just kind of not doing it for me. And I'm going to use one of my C-color brushes. This came in one of my palettes, and it's got this flat brush on this side too, which I forget I even have this brush because I love this brush. So now let's go into this one. Gosh, this is hard to hold up. This one right here. This one's called Spiced Coral. I'm going to put that towards the outer part of the transition area. Oh yeah, this looks like it's a little bit more bang for your buck here. We'll see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's really nice. Beautiful. So this is giving me the bright and vibrant, I would say. I mean, that mustardy shade kind of does too, but you know, like I have the weird undertone in my skin, so just what happens. And I'm just gonna try to like buff this on and kind of blow it out just a little bit, meet these shades up right here in the middle, kind of overlap them a little bit. But yeah, I like that a lot. That's really pretty. And I like the way these two are matching up together, like kind of, I don't know, bleeding into each other a little bit. That looks cool. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so now I do want to deepen up the outer V, but I don't want to go too deep because I just used that dark brown shade in that other look that I did in my last look. So I think what I'll do is go into Sweet Cheeks right here and put that in my outer V. The weirdest thing happened. We had snow here the other day, which I don't like snow at all. We had heard on the radio news channel that it was going to be snowing when we woke up the other morning. And I thought, yeah, right. Because, you know, they've said that before and it didn't snow. Our weathermen here get the weather wrong all the time. And I think that probably happens everywhere. But here it's like, what are you guys doing exactly? Are you looking at somebody else's weather reports? I don't know. So we just really didn't think that that was going to happen. And yeah, I woke up and there was about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of snow on the ground. It melted really quickly. You know, it stayed around for maybe a couple hours, but it did melt pretty quickly. And I don't want to go over too far with this, but I do kind of want to bring it over into that yellow just a little bit, just to kind of make that look a little cooler, you know? But I'm just going to kind of slow myself down here and just kind of try to jive those together a little bit better. Yeah, looks cool. So now I do want to go into a shimmer, and I'm going to go to this one here called Honey and put that across the lid. A beautiful kind of orangey gold shimmer. So let's lay this down right here. Take this up into my crease, or up above my crease, I guess. That is gorgeous. Wow. Yeah, I don't know that I got earthy with this look, but I did get bright and vibrant, I would say. What I might do is put a brown shade on my lower lash line. I think I will, because I don't think any of these shades I'm really gonna love on my lower lash line, because they just will make me look sick. Yeah, I do like that a lot. I think it looks really cool, but I do want to add a little bit more of, where's my brush? This one. The shade Sweet Cheeks back into that, the outer edge here, just to kind of tone that edge of that shimmer down. I always do that. So I'm pretty much done with this look. That didn't take me very long. Now, I know it doesn't look a little funky, but please trust the process. When I get my other eye done, my lower lash lines, lower water lines, the rest of my face makeup on, and this hair dealt with, I think it'll look a lot better. So don't go anywhere. This is the finished look, and I love how this look turned out. It's a little bit brighter than I was anticipating. You know, I wanted to do bright and earthy. I don't really think earthy came into this look at all. I did put some brown on my lower lash lines. but still, it's pretty bright and bold, but I really do like it. And of course, I'm going to show you guys the palette again, and I'll talk about each look that I created with this palette, kind of break the palette down for you. But before I get there, I did want to show you guys just a few things I used in my finished look today. On my lips, I did choose this red liquid lipstick from the brand Give. This is Gwen Stefani's new brand, and Grace Gel Beauty 87 sent me this along with 2 other little lippies, came in a little kit of 3. And this is in the shade I'm Still Here. And is this the first time I've ever used this one? I don't know. I can't remember. It may have been the second time I've used it, but man, I love this lippy. It smells like cake batter. Smells so cool. I love the wand. I love how it feels. I love the shade. Amazing. Grace, thank you so much for sending me these lippies. And for my mascara, I did use the Wet n Wild Big Papa. Now this is pretty much on its last legs. There's not very much in here. So this Papa should probably go, or will be going, in the garbage can very soon. But this is a really nice mascara and very affordable. And then for my lower waterlines, I did use the NYX Professional Makeup Epic Wear Liner Stick in gold plated. I just thought gold would look nice in my lower waterlines because of the gold shade on the lid. And this is wonderful. It works so good in the waterlines. And then I use this as my upper lid liner, and this is the one I got from Temu. This is from Yankina. This is the 3D Waterproof Precision Liquid Eyeliner. Obsessed with this one. It's so affordable and it works so well. And then for my highlighter, I did use the Nomad Kiss of Sun highlighter that I think came in like an Ipsy. And I did pop a little bit of this in my inner corners. I just really couldn't find a shimmer shade in that palette that I thought would look good as an inner corner shade with what was going on my eyelids. So I chose this, and this is such an awesome highlighter. It's beautiful. So now for the palette, the BPerfect Stacey Marie Carnival Antidote palette. And I honestly don't know why I waited so long to pick up this palette. I mean, I could have paid, I should have paid. Well, I didn't pay full price, but I would have. I mean, I should have. It's just ridiculous. I just really wanted to wait until it went on sale. And I'm just really happy that it did. You know, yes, I do have these tones and other palettes in my collection, but to have them all together like this is just wonderful. And the formula is amazing in this palette. This is hard to hold up, so I'm going to put my hand right here. The mattes worked really well. Every single matte that I used. The shimmers worked so well too, especially in my first look, those 2 kind of goldy green shimmers. At one point, I put too much shimmer on the brush and I thought, oh my God, this is going to make a mess. And it didn't. It just mushed nicely into my eyelid or onto my eyelid. So awesome. And I really like the second look that I created too, more simple look with a larger palette. Just kind of wanted to show that you can do that. And also that you can create a more neutral leaning look with a palette like this. And then for this look, I love it. I love the brightness of it, the boldness of it. This shade right here at first was kind of, I don't know, I felt like it wasn't as pigmented as some of the other shades in here that I used. But I still think it looks nice. And I love the shimmer that I put on my lid today. This one here called Honey. It's gorgeous. And I'm not sure if this palette is still on sale, but I do recommend that if you don't have this palette and you're really digging the color story and you enjoyed my looks, and if you've seen other people use this palette, Ash, Makeup and Chaos, I will have their channel linked in my description box. Please go to their channel and watch their videos. What I'll do is I will find their videos where they use this palette and I'll link those in my description box so you guys can go directly to those videos and watch. There might only be one, there might be more than one, I can't remember. I can't keep other people's content straight in my head if I had to. But truly, I think this would be a wonderful addition to your collection if you're liking the palette. I don't know that we need eyeshadow palettes. I mean, we need to have food and lights on and a roof over our head and socks on our feet. But I do feel like I needed to have this in my collection. I really wanted to have it, and I'm just thrilled that I have it. I love it. Now, I'd love to know which look you guys like best out of the 3 that I created with this palette in this video. I would have to go with look 1 just because I love green shades and I love those shimmers, but I also really like this look. I like the second look too, but really, I'm such a green lover that I just have to stick with look 1 as my favorite look that I created. But I'd love to chat about that with you guys in the comment section. And please let me know if you have this palette, what you think of it, if you're going to get this palette. I will link the Beauty Bay website in my description box, and you guys can go check it out and see if it's still on sale. I hope it is. And I really hope if you don't have this yet that maybe you'd consider getting it. I mean, I shouldn't push people to buy anything, but I really do think this is a very nice quality formulated palette, beautiful color story, and this video was so much fun to put together. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your life to sit down and watch my video. If you're new here and you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing, smash the like button, and of course, please comment down below in the comment section because I love to chat with you guys there. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I cannot wait to see you guys again on my next video, but in the meantime, please take very good care of yourself. Be well, safe, happy, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Drop it.